What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the THAI Lyfe Channel. My name is Min, and in this video I am going to show you how to do a stiletto shaped nails using a square curve tips. And some of y'all already probably judging me the fact that I say a square curve tips, because nowadays everybody's using a straight tips, everybody's using a pre-shaped tips. Why would I want to be that kind of nail tech that's cutting corner and being that lazy and not knowing how to shape, because they make all this pre-shape for me? And you know what's the problem with all these pre-shaped tips? They only come in certain length, okay? If you were getting a stiletto shaped nails, if you want a certain length, how are you going to get a specific length for that client with the pre-shaped stiletto tips? That's why I am not going to show you how to do shaping by buying all this pre-shaped tips. I am going to show you how to do shaping in the old school way, where back in the day we only got one type of tip, and that's called the natural square curve tips that I am using on my client. And especially when it comes to doing stiletto nails, you got to have the aerodynamic on the shape. That means that shape has to be nice and round, nice and curved, okay? The problem with straight tips when it comes to doing stiletto is that you have different type of hands. You got clients with fingernails that are sticking up, and if you're going to use a straight tips, now that client's finger got a roller coaster setting it up for a lift. You don't want that to happen to you, okay? Yes, I love straight tip on certain shape, like coffin shape, like ballerina shape, or sometimes when the client's fingernail curved down too much, I like to use a straight tip, because the curved tip would make that nail more curvy. Now you got them looking like as a loop from a roller coaster, y'all. Why are we making clients' nail looking like a theme park? We don't need clients' nail be looking like that. So that is why I use these natural square curve tips. So when I am applying these square curve tips on, you are looking at the curve, you're like, oh my God, how do we get rid of the curve? It is not the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. What you have to do is, once you apply the tips on, you see the wall, you see the curve, you just have to cut the curve on the side to create a straight tips. That is not hard to do, okay? So don't judge these tips. So once you apply these tips on, the client is feeling bougie already. You know, there's something about just applying the tips on. That client is feeling like, oh my God, I'm a bad bitch again. So you cut down the length. So here's the trick about cutting down the length when doing stiletto shape. Whatever length that the client is gonna ask you to do, I always cut it a little bit longer. But I also communicate with the client to let them know that I will make them shorter once I shape them. All of this process right here, it takes communication. In order for you and the client to perfect a perfect shape on their nails, you have to communicate with them. I see so many nail tech working around me. They just go in and be like, what color do you want? What shape you want? And they stay quiet, or they stay on their phone, and they just kind of go at it with the fingernail. That's not how it works, all right? Communicate with the client. So after you cut down the length, you're going to go in with this little scissor right here, and you're going to go ahead and cut it. Visualize that stiletto shape. You got to visualize how you want that stiletto shape to be, and you know how on the sidewall, the cuticle is the widest part of your fingernail. Make sure it shift in. So use that scissor to cut it side to side, bringing in that stiletto, okay? So that's all you have to do during this moment. Is it going to be a perfect cut? Absolutely not. This is called a brainstorm shaping. You got to go ahead to eliminate all the corners that's unnecessary for this shape. That's what I love about doing stilettos, because you don't really need all that space on the tips. And it's going to help you with the acrylic applications once you start shaping the tips down. So that's what I find is efficient, is getting the shape out of the way so that you don't hurt yourself after shaping with the acrylic on, because it's hard when the acrylic is on. So now that I cut my tips into the stiletto that I envision, I am not done yet. What I'm going to do is after I cut the tips into the stiletto shape, I'm going to go in with the hand file and I am going to file the nails. When you guys are filing the nails and on just the tip without the acrylic, make sure you file gently because it's very easy to shift the shape too much to the left or too much to the right. Always sanitize your tips, okay? The shape has to be sanitized. So the pointy part of the stiletto has to be right in the center of your fingernails, okay? And if you don't know where the center of the fingernails is because your ass is not looking at the fingernail. Your ass is looking at the hand. Look at the fingernails right now. Point where the center of the nails at. Roll your eyeballs down. That is where the stiletto tips is gonna start, y'all. Okay, you see how when I'm filing, I'm not going up and down with the file very hard. I'm literally just going side, 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 left, 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 right, right, right. You see, you gotta alternate them, okay? Because if you focus on too much on one side, you're gonna shift the shape over to the other side. So there's no such thing as focusing on one side, y'all. Everything you do, you gotta find a balance, okay? And when it comes to shaping the nails, every single shape of the nail you do on certain clients are differently, okay? Even though you might be doing the stiletto shape, but that doesn't mean that same stiletto shape that you doing on the last 10,000 client is the same on the next 10,000 client. Every single hand that you see coming into the salon is going to be different. You're going to have a big ass hand. You're going to have some small hand. You're going to have tiny fingers. You're going to have long finger, short finger, big ass knuckle finger, blister finger, all kind of dirty stuff on their fingers. Those are the kind of fingers you're going to be dealing with. And those are the kind of fingers you have to shape accordingly, okay? That's why it's important that we know how to shape, okay? All this pre-shaped tips that you can buy on the internet, look, that only works for certain hand. If you got my mother's hand where she got some big old nail beds and she got some wild fingers, those tips don't even fit her right. You know what I mean? So what you gonna do? You're not gonna shape her right? So these is the reason why I love using the square curve tips. As you can see, the shape is coming along. At this moment right here, the client is feeling more bougie than when I applied the tips, y'all. When I applied the tips on, she was feeling bougie. But the moment she sees the shapes goes on, she feel like she's a bad bitch now, okay? And then once you put the acrylic on, she's beyond the bad bitch mode. She's like at that mode where she be like, don't mess with me. I'm about to go out and scratch somebody's ass with this. No, I'm just joking, y'all. But really, when you guys are shaping stiletto, just keep in mind that if it ain't sharp, it is not stiletto, y'all. The stiletto has to be really sharp. And how sharp, when I say sharp, let me tell you how sharp. When you are shaping a stiletto nails, you want to be so sharp where when the clients come back to you, they got stories to share with you. They be like, oh yeah, I was trying to scratch my husband's ass and I accidentally poke him. See, those are the kind of stories they share with you. And that's when you are feeling proud of a nail technician you are. You be like, I did that shape, bitch. I did that shape. Did you scratch his balls too while you at it? For real, y'all. Like back in the day when we were like in the shop, they be like, look, if you don't poke your pants, if you don't poke your shirt with your stilettos, it ain't stiletto, girl. You got yourself some almond shape, okay? Because stilettos gotta be sharp, okay? And if it ain't sharp, like I say, it ain't stiletto, okay? And make sure you shape differently on each hand, y'all. And make sure you give every single finger some love, okay? It is so unreasonable of y'all to give like 9-finger love and y'all be like, I hate the thumb, so I'm going to give the thumb less of a love. Don't do that. Don't do that. Give every single finger some love. So here comes the application part. When it comes to pre-shaped stilettos, so now you have created a stiletto shape on the nails. You see how easy it is to do the application? You don't really have to use that much acrylic because the shape, the corner is already cut down to the stiletto shape. You just really apply the acrylic. And look, I mentioned earlier, acrylic is not the hardest steps when it comes to doing nails. It's the shaping, y'all. Because now that you put the acrylic on, you know it's already pre-shaped stiletto. Do you think that stiletto is going to stay the same? No. That stiletto shape is going to expand. That stiletto shape is going to look a little like almond shape right now, okay? So, yes, we still have to reshape a little bit, but you don't have to shape them that much because you did the main part of forming the stiletto shape already. And the reason why I'm showing you this angle right here of this me doing the application, because for those of you who still struggle with acrylic application, let me share with you some tips. When it comes to acrylic application, 3 things that is very important. Number 1 is the monomers. You have to buy yourself a good monomer. The one that I am using right now is Young Nails. And second down to Young Nail is CND Retention. Okay, those are the 2 monomers that I love to use because how consistent they are. They don't dry fast and they all EMA. Okay, when it comes to the acrylic, I like to use color acrylic base as my new set because I like a nice nude base. I don't use clear base anymore, okay? I only use clear base if clients come in with clear base already and I have to fill in with the clear base. But if you are doing a set of nails brand new, I love using this color nude acrylic, okay? Now, the number 1 question I always get is, does the acrylic matter when it comes to acrylic application? And the answer is absolutely not. What matters is the monomer. I want you to have a good monomer because if you have a good monomer, any type of acrylic can be applicable, okay? It doesn't matter about the acrylic. It's really the monomer. But the 3rd thing that is very important is your brush. You have to understand your brush, okay? When it comes to acrylic application, if you are using a size 18 brush, which is a big brush, you're gonna pick up more powder. You're gonna pick up more monomer. It's kind of common sense. If you use like a size 10 or a size 12, which is a smaller brush, high chance it's not going to pick up a lot of monomers. It's not going to pick up a lot of acrylic. So if you're using like a 1 bead method, you might need a size 16 or 18. If you're a type of nail tech who use like little beads to apply the acrylic, you can use 12, 14, or 10. When it comes to acrylic application, all of these are your personal preference. Acrylic, monomer, brushes, those are your personal preference that you find that's been working for you, okay? But those are the main thing. That's why you have to make sure you have these tools. Now, when it comes to picking up the bead, it's really simple because I have always mentioned this to you guys that I don't care if it's a 1 bead method. I don't care if it's a 2 bead or 3 or 4. All I care is about the smooth surface on the nails. So myself, I probably end up using 3 bead method or 4 bead. It just depends on how the fingernails look. So pick up the monomers accordingly. Look at the way the monomer form itself. And when it forms really nice and consistently, then you know you got a good bead. When it takes too long for it to form, you didn't pick up monomers. When it forms too fast, you pick up too much monomers. So what is better? Picking up less monomers or picking up a lot of monomers? To me, I rather pick up a lot of monomers because if I pick up the bead, I can let the air dry the bead and so that I can make the acrylic consistent. But if I didn't pick up enough monomers, and I'm waiting for my acrylic to evaporate to form into a nice bead, it's taking too long, I might have to throw that bead away. And it happens. Throughout a process of nails, when you pick up a bead, you got to feel it. You can't just like pick up the bead and put it on. Pick up the bead and put it on. You gotta feel that bead is a good bead. Like you can feel it. I'm not even kidding. If you do this long enough, you know you can feel it. And if you really agree with everything that I am saying right now, give me a thumbs up, y'all. Make sure to share this video. Make sure to like. Do whatever you can to make this video more popular because I want everybody to get the same information. I want everybody to get down this concept because it is so important, y'all. I can tell y'all that when it comes to the shaping of the nails, let me tell you how important it is. You can have the best design, you can have the best acrylic application, but if your shape is crooked, if your shape is out of control, if your shape is too wide, the nail doesn't look good anymore. That's why it is so important that we take our time and we shape the nails correctly. Shaping is like the fundamental of the beauty of the nails because me as a nail technician, if I'm looking at your nails, I'm not going to go in and be like, oh, that's a nice design. I'm going to be like, let me see the shape. And once the shape is good, I go on to the acrylic application. Once the acrylic application is good, Now I look at the design and the overall cherry on the top. So after you do your application, right? Did I say earlier that you still have to shape again? Yes, I did. But the shaping is a lot easier because you already have yourself a stiletto shape, okay? Your nail is a little already stiletto, but the problem is it's not sharp. Remember what I say? You gotta get these nails sharp. If the stiletto doesn't put holes in your pantyhose, then it's not stilettos. If these stilettos doesn't poke your ass and make it bleed, it is not stiletto. If your man doesn't have scratch mark on his back or his balls, it ain't stilettos. Stilettos, it gotta be sharp. And I can tell you, if it's not sharp, your clients will never have stories to share with you. Because if you make your stiletto really sharp, they be coming back, they be telling you all that stuff. Like, yup, I scratched my man and he doesn't like it. Yep, he had 3 stitches on already. You see what I'm saying? Those are the kind of story. And as a nail tech, when we hear those kind of stories, we be like, that's right, bitch. I did that stiletto shape. What you gonna say now? You want your stiletto sharp again? You the one who asked for it. I'm not even playing with y'all, okay? So now, you just shape a little bit, get that nice stiletto nice and crisp again. But remember, y'all, when you guys are shaping, make sure you guys are holding on to the finger really nice and tight so it doesn't vibrate. The worst feeling you can have when it comes to doing nail is the vibration part of the hand files. So make sure you hold on to the nail very nice and tight. Make sure the client is comfortable and make sure you don't cut the clients on the side of the cuticle. Those are the most painful things that you don't want to put your clients through. So make sure you hold on to your client's fingers thoroughly. You see how I'm holding it? I got my thumb right on the side of the cuticle. I have my other finger right on my other side cuticle just to protect her thumb from getting. And you see how I just did that stiletto test by using my thumb tapping on. So now you got the shape nice and crisp. But what about the cuticles? The shape, the flushing of the cuticle is part of the shape. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that if you flush the cuticle nicely, it comes with the shape? Yes, it is, honey. That's right. The shaping is not just the top of the nail on the side of the nail. The shaping also include the cleaning up the cuticle because you want that aerodynamic. You want that stiletto to be nice and curved. You want the nail from the cuticle lift all the way up to the tips. That is how you want the nails to be. And that is why it is important that we know how to use the electric file when it comes to shaping the nail. When I start shaping the nail with electric file, I always start from the side wall. I work my way up. And you ever wonder like how when you look at Instagram picture, you see like the shaping of the nail on the side is so clean, like how they make the side so straight, and you try doing that with the hand file and it doesn't work. That's because they doesn't work with the hand file. They use the electric file. The electric file, when you turn it on at a fast speed, the metal blade is like a knife. And what you're going to do is you're going to run that metal blade on the side wall of your shape to get that wall to look nice and straight for the shape. And that is so important when it comes to doing shaping of the nails, y'all. I don't think a lot of people elaborate too much on the electric file. They only think that the electric file is just to smooth out the surface and the cuticle. But no, the electric file is the final ending of your shaping, because when you shape really good, you flush the cuticle really nicely, that shape really comes together. The hand file is only to be able to shape like the circumference, the diameter of the shape. It doesn't get inside of the shape, and that's what the electric file does. It gets inside of the shape. And if you are not comfortable using the electric file, it does take practice. Find your stability by holding your hand together. Make sure you hold the clients thoroughly. It takes practice, but don't be afraid. I know there's a lot of nail techs out there, they don't use the electric file to shape the cuticles, and that's okay. You have your way, but I always highly recommend using the electric file. It does save you a lot of time, but it's not just time. It's really seeing that nice cuticle flushing, seeing that shape coming together. And I cannot elaborate how important it is, because every time I use the electric file, I can actually see the shape, like everything forming together. And I want y'all to really get with the program, okay? And this file, this e-file that I am using, I just got it. I'm going to have a video on the review of this Mini Pro that I just been using for 2 weeks now. I'll give you my full feedback on it, is because I want y'all to make the best decision when it comes to buying an electric drill. I can't emphasize how important it is to have good equipment when it comes to doing nails. Invest in yourself, invest in your client, okay? When you are truly invested in the business that you're doing, high chance the client is gonna reinvest in you, okay? Take that practice, run with it, but at the end, y'all, that's how the shape looks like. We did a Frenchie, some vines, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial videos. Very simple to do the stiletto shape, square curve tips. There it is, y'all. I hope you like this video. I appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, share, and really subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you.